So not to be outdone by Ralph's scratch built, I scratch built that F6. No, actually, it's an Airfix quarter
Save the
scale.
watches, save the watches.
I can't claim full credit for that because many of you may remember Steve Russo.
Yeah.
He actually gave me that before he passed away, and he had the resin cockpit already in there,
He
and the
made some wild
fuselage
stuff.
half put together, and some sanding done.
He did some wild kit action, didn't
Yeah, and
Yeah, he
so he said, hey, he knew I was interested in building that kit, so he says, here, take it, and so in honor of him, I kind of finished it up, and it's pretty much out of the box except for the antennas that I put in there. Let's see, nothing else is everything else is out of the box.
he? Met a guy in Saudi Arabia who owned a little tiny hobby shop, but I mean little tiny, about a little smaller than this room. He had been a crew chief in the Saudi Air Force for 10 years, and he loved that airplane.
So
He said it was
it's an
solid.
it's an absolutely interesting airplane. F6 is this version. The one they were planning on after this was the F7, and it was supposed to have variable geometry wings like the 111, but they never obviously made it. This thing is in the markings of the 5 Squadron out of Binbrook RAF base. Reading about the history of the development of this and the operational history of this airplane, it's amazing because most of you probably know it's a superb climbing interceptor. Just like the Spitfire being an interceptor, this was made for for intercepting the bomber threat, strategic bomber threat.
Right.
So the time to climb is faster than an F-104. The typical climb profile to make the time to climb record is take off full afterburner. You reach, put your gear up, flaps up, 430 knots, and at 430 knots you bring the nose up slightly to climb at 450 knots to 13,000 feet, and at 13,000 feet they accelerate to 0.87 Mach up to 36,000 feet. That's a tropopause at standard day. And then once they reach 36,000 feet at 0.87 Mach, they lower the nose, go supersonic, and climb at supersonic. And the time to climb to 36,000 on a standard day is 3 minutes.
Yeah.
That's how fast it was.
Yeah,
And
amazing.
a couple of British test pilots actually flew a contest with a 104 and out of the German Air Force and stuff.
Yeah.
And it beat the 104 for climbing. The
Wow.
only
Nice.
time it was dead heat with a 104 was when it's low altitude supersonic acceleration.
Which one be, the 104?
104,
Yes, sir.
yeah. And so it was a superb.
When I was
Interceptor.
taking the Luke Air Force Base, they
So
had
how-
the last squadron of F-104s in the U.S. Air Force, 69 TFTS, and the Luftwaffe flew them. And I'd heard this wild story about how they sharpened the leading and trailing edges of the wings, and I thought, that's bullshit.
Sure.
One Saturday morning, I had the duty, and I walked out to look at the line. There's this guy out there with this big old 2-handed file. He was dressing the leading edge, and then they put covers
I
on
thought
it.
you were going to say he was shaving on the leading edge.
No,
So-
but they put covers on so you won't cut yourself walking into
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
Right.
absolutely.
And he
A lot of people
also,
have done that,
they
yeah.
also, when at the same time, they would clean the wing. I mean, clean it and wipe it down and wax it.
Yeah.
And I asked him why they go through so much trouble, and he said, hey, there ain't much wing, you gotta have every square inch of it available.
Yeah.
But
So
this
your panel lines, it's not a
so
decal, you did that,
yeah,
right?
the colors are Model Master, Model Master acrylic colors, neutral gray, sea gray, and dark sea gray, I think. There's 3
Yeah.
actual colors.
You did a really nice job
Okay.
of painting
Oh,
that.
thank you very much.
Yeah, did the ladder come with the kit?
The what?
The ladder?
No, it was a separate one. That
Okay.
one and the cockpit are the only resin things in there.
So what did you use to do your panel?
Panel lines, they're
The
beautiful.
panel lines, so after I painted it, I got dark gray, oil-based
Uh-huh.
paint, out of a tube, and then,
Thinned it.
thin it with,
Mineral spirits or something, yeah.
spirits, and then just wipe it, put it on there, and then
Wipe
wipe
it.
it off.
Oh, okay.
Start wiping it off.
Then that's, because that's absolutely beautiful.
Yeah,
And-
they're
That's a
very
beautiful
subtle,
walk.
very
Weathering-
nice.
Yeah.
Severe weathering is for some of those panels I darkened.
Yeah, okay. That
And
is beautiful.
what'd you use for your, what'd you use for your metal finishes on the tanks and the?
The nose is
inline.
all clad aluminum, polished aluminum.
Okay. And the tanks on the
And the tanks
wings?
are, I think it was just aluminum,
All clad,
all
yeah.
clad, yeah.
That's
All right.
beautiful.
But it's
Nice
a-
job
it's
on
a-
that.
It's a delight to build. There's a lot of parts, a lot of decals. I mean, the decal sheet is, you know, huge. So it was fun to build. And, you know, you can do camouflage ones. I mean, this is the newer ones, I guess, the new gray paint job, but.
Yeah, the low
What was
vis.
the rationale for them putting the fuel tanks on, the spare fuel tanks on top?
They're
Gravity feed?
British.
Yeah, gravity feed, gravity
You know,
feed.
Yeah, I think,
Jaguars has a sidewinder.
I think what they did was during
too.
tests, they had problems with that thing, hitting the rear, because it's a low,
During takeoff?
yeah, it's a low horizontal stabilizer, and it would actually, you know, hit that. if
Hit
it
the
was
stab
on
when
the
you
bottom,
release the
yeah.
tanks, yeah.
They lost a pilot with the second prototype because the tanks hit the stab, caused a large fire, and before he had a chance to punch out, the airplane blew up.
Wow.
And the only reason
Yeah.
they went with the, you know, the engine arrangement, top and bottom, is because they had a requirement to lessen the frontal
Profile?
yeah, profile of it, and
Right.
it's actually like 25% more efficient with the engine that way.
Yeah.
Is it really? Wow.
Well,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Must be a
Streamlining,
mainlining
you
and
don't have
everything,
to-
yeah.
yeah,
Right.
Like a maintenance nightmare, though, I would think.
It is.
Yeah.
Is the
And,
nose bare metal? Is the nose bare metal, or?
No, it's actually painted with all clad, yeah.
You don't have to worry about side-to-side thrust either.
Yeah, that's true, asymmetric
You got
thrust,
centerline
but-
thrust.
But one of the
Yeah.
dangers was, if any leakage of hydraulic fluid or whatever from the top engine.
Hit the
went on,
bottom,
you know,
yeah,
then,
big
you could
fire,
have
yeah.
in
Yeah.
there, so.
Oh, all right. That's really nice.
Yeah, good kid,
Nice,
Airfix.
nice,
And
nice
somebody's got,
build.
oh, you've got the 32nd.
Yeah.
Who makes the 32nd?
Trumpeter.
Trumpeter.
All right.
Yeah, it's a good kid. It's a-
An interesting story about the electrolyting. When they first went into service, the Russian Bear bombers that were going over Scapa Flow, taking pictures of the British Navy, they found that when these things take off and go vertical, they were so fast, and in supersonic, they created such a vapor wake as they went up. The Russians thought they were being fired upon with missiles.
Oh,
So they all took off and went back to Russia.
I think
No,
British-
thanks.
one of the British test pilots flew it up to, I mean, to 80-some thousand feet,
Yeah.
so that's an amazing design
All right.
for, you know, 50s and 60s.